In this video, I'm going to show you through gematria and numerology how the state of Texas is clearly controlled by the Jesuits. First, let's start with some history. The Republic of Texas officially declared independence from Mexico on March 2, 1836. This date can be written as 3/2. There are 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. Lone Star, the state's nickname, equals 32. America equals 32, and the Declaration was signed at Washington on the Brazos, named after America's first president. Brazos River equals 153, 144, and 72, like Jesuit order. 4 days later, the Battle of the Alamo officially concluded on March 6th, the 66th day of that year. Texas equals 66, and William B. Travis, for whom Travis County is named after, died that day at the age of 26, and Travis equals 26. The Battle of the Alamo took place in San Antonio, Texas, which equals 191 and 56, like Society of Jesus. Sam Houston became the first president of Texas, and he happens to share the same birthday as the Republic, born 43 years before its independence. Society of Jesus equals 191, the 43rd prime. His last name, Houston, equals 112, and the Jesuits are known to operate in 112 countries. Lone Star also equals 112. The city of Houston, named after Sam Houston, was Texas's first permanent capital. On January 19, 1839, the capital was moved to what was then known as Waterloo. This date can be written as 19/1, and Society of Jesus again equals 191. This date had 32 numerology. It also had 17-date numerology in tribute to Freemasonry. The president at the time was Mirabeau B. Lamar, whose name equals 54, just like Jesuit order. Later that year, Waterloo was renamed to Austin in honor of Stephen F. Austin, the so-called Father of Texas. Stephen F. Austin equals 177 and 201, just like the Jesuit order. Austin was heavily involved in Freemasonry, and if you haven't heard about myself and others talk about the close relationship between the Jesuits and the Freemasons, then you should look into that. Austin also equals Jesuit in all 4 base ciphers. 6 years later, Texas officially joined the United States of America on December 29, 1845. This date can be written as 12/29. 1229 is the 201st prime number, and remember, the Jesuit order equals 201. Later that century, the University of Texas opened, and their sports teams would be known as the Longhorns. Well, Texas Longhorns equals 191 and 187, just like Society of Jesus. Now, Texas has had 48 governors since becoming a state, but for time's sake, I'm only going to talk about a few of them. Funny enough, Governor of Texas equals 201. The first one I want to talk about is the 36th governor, Beaufort H. Jester. He was born on January 12, 1893, a date that's written 1/12, and he became the 36th governor on 43-date numerology, when Texas Longhorns and Society of Jesus equal 191, the 43rd prime, at the age of 54. Jester is the only Texas governor to die in office, as he died on a train in Houston, which equals 112, at the age of 56. He also died 26 weeks and 3 days before his upcoming birthday, and 263 is the 56th prime. In commemoration, the University of Texas built a dorm in his honor, which at one point was the largest college dorm in the world. Its address is 201 East 21st Street, but for some reason I don't think any of the students there know the symbolism of those numbers. By the way, the UT system currently has a budget of $20.1 billion, like 201. Jester deserves an entire video on his own, but this is the most pertinent information. The second one I want to talk about is the 43rd governor, Mark White. I already touched on his parallels with current Governor Greg Abbott in my video last year, which you can watch here. White became the 43rd governor 58 days before his 43rd birthday. Freemasonry equals 58, and we already touched on 191 being the 43rd prime. Speaking of his birthday, it's March 17th, written as 3/17, and 317 is the 66th prime, like Texas. Furthermore, he died 20 weeks and 1 day after his birthday at the age of 77 in Houston, which equals 77. Next, the 46th governor and future U.S. President George W. Bush. Bush was born on July 6th, the 187th day of the year, like Society of Jesus. His full name equals 177, like the Jesuit order. In his second term as governor, he won the U.S. presidential election to become the 43rd president of our country, while his brother Jeb was the 43rd governor of Florida at the time. By the way, the U.S. president is inaugurated on the 20th of January, a date that can be written as 20/1, like 201. The governor of Texas is sworn in on the third Tuesday of January, which is often the 20th of January. And that leads me to current Governor Greg Abbott. I already made a video on him, so I'll keep it simple. He was sworn in as governor on January 20th. His name equals 43, like the time of the incident that left him paralyzed from the waist down at the time of the 43rd governor. His name equals 56, like Society of Jesus, and his full name equals 263, the 56th prime. He was born on the 317th day of the year, the 66th prime, like Texas. I've talked about the governors, but what about the sports? After all, my channel is mostly focused around sports. Earlier I talked about how Lone Star, the state's nickname, equals 32. Well, there are 4 teams with star symbolism: Dallas Stars, Dallas Cowboys, Houston Astros, and to a lesser extent, the San Antonio Spurs. The Stars' lone Stanley Cup was in their 32nd season. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl in their 33rd season, which means it was 32 years after their first season. Also, the Cowboys have 5 Super Bowls, and the Texas flag and the Cowboys logo each have a 5-pointed star. 5, by the way, equals 66, like Texas. The Astros play in Houston, which equals 32, and they won their first World Series in their 56th season, like Society of Jesus, and their second on the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Furthermore, their second World Series championship was in their 61st season, and March 2nd, Texas Independence Day, is usually the 61st day of the year. The Spurs won their first NBA championship in the franchise's 32nd season, and later won their third championship in their 32nd season in San Antonio. Oh wait, I almost forgot about the Houston Texans. They are the NFL's 32nd franchise, and they entered the league 32 years after the completion of the AFL-NFL merger. Last year, Texas whooped Baylor 20-1 on the 112th day of the year in a regular season college baseball game. And that day also had 32-day numerology. Texas quarterback Arch Manning committed to UT on the day leaving 191 days left in the year. There's so much more that I could talk about in this video, but I wanted to keep it simple and stick to the Jesuit theme. As someone who has only lived in Texas for less than 2 years, it's amazing to have found all these Jesuit connections from this knowledge of gematria and numerology.